Greetings, gentle viewers.
Hey everyone. Teddy stole some of my hot nuts.
Yum.
We just spoiled the Fantastic Four.
First steps.
I didn't realise there was a subtitle to it, but there we are.
Well, it was necessary because, otherwise you're like, watch the Fantastic Four. What, the 1994 version, the 2006 version, or, Fan Four Stick, which put the four in the wrong place.
We watched the
That was
fourth
terrible.
Fantastic Four.
Fifth Fantastic Four.
We're not counting the sequels. I'm talking about universes. And by universes, I mean cinematic universes from 1994.
Okay,
Well,
so
it was Earth 828.
yeah. You're wondering about what the thing at the end was. It was
Hey, this is spoiler territory.
This is not a spoiler. This is post-credits. There's a little quote came up from Jack Kirby, the co-creator of the Fantastic Four, saying about how, he's inside all of his characters. And then at the end, it was like, Jack Kirby, and then it was like 828. And then it spread out the 8 and 28, basically revealing that that was a reference to when he went to his birthday.
Oh, okay.
So I went, oh.
I missed that part because I was fucking with my phone.
Okay.
Okay.
It's been over a minute, and all we've done is muck about. So,
Welcome to one of our videos.
well, let's stop doing that and actually do the video. Hello. Do you want to give a synopsis?
I think you're being very mean.
Give
Yeah.
a synopsis.
Our internet, are you a fan of seeing Pedro Pascal look after, a magical child of some sort? Well, have you seen that before in several different sort of ways? Well, you can see it again in the 60s.
It's his own baby this time. So, yeah, this is set in a different universe from the main Marvel canon right now.
If that wasn't obvious enough from
Yeah.
the trailers and the posters and every piece of promotional material.
Yeah, but some people are like me. They prefer to go on blind without seeing trailers and
And
stuff.
some people pay so little attention, they're not sure, they don't understand why Wonder Woman and Superman aren't in the Avengers.
Mm.
Well,
Well, I'm not even going to touch on that.
it's, a lot of people don't know some stuff that other people find very basic. It's just the way things are.
Those people are not watching our videos.
This is true.
I feel like she's just rage baiting at this point. But anyway, so the story is they skip over the origin story except for a little bit of exposition talk show at the start. Thank fuck for that. I am sick of superhero origin films. So they skip over that and then they go straight to, what was it, like 4 years after their transformation. They're all heroes. They've united the Earth's governments, most of them.
It's a kind of like Buckaroo Banzai in that this is like, film 6 of the Fantastic Four, but we're not seeing the first 5.
Because funnily enough, you haven't seen it yet, but that's exactly what they did with Superman as well.
So yeah, they're well on their way to cultivating world peace. They haven't done it yet, but they're well on their way. And then the Silver Surfer shows up and is like, yo, y'all gonna get nommed. Peace out. And then they try to follow the Silver Surfer signal into space. While Sue is pregnant, by the way, why they let her go in the first place
They didn't let her.
Because then they would have to get new suits because it'd be the Fantastic Three.
And, you don't let Sue do stuff. Sue
In
does shit
certain
because she
Asian
wants
countries, the film is being marketed as the Fantastic 3A because 4 in their language, shu, sounds like death.
Okay,
So,
okay.
It will translate to the Fantastic Death, and they were not going to market that. So it's Fantastic 3A in certain countries. I thought it was fucking hilarious. Anyway, so they go off into space. They find Galactus numbing a planet. They get pulled onto his ship, and they're like, yo, bro, can you not? And then, yeah.
You're getting a bit spoiler territory here. I
Yeah,
just wanted
spoilers,
to
by the way.
lay the groundwork. So before we get into spoilers,
I don't think it's a spoiler that the Fantastic Four want to stop Galactus from eating planets.
I think it's a spoiler that he's in this film. If they
Yeah,
haven't watched the
trailers.
yeah, what did you just say less than 5 minutes ago about not everyone is aware of it?
No, just like some people don't pay attention to films.
Hey, and some people don't pay attention to trailers, which is now you've just used that against me.
So you want me to stop the synopsis?
Yes, we stop the synopsis now, and then we talk about our feelings about it,
I'm in trouble.
and then we'll get into
Leave
spoiler
a comment
territory.
about which of us
Do
is
you
right
need
about
the
this.
feeling stick, dear?
Feeling stick.
You want the conch so you can talk.
Pseudo touchy-feely hippie stuff. Anyway,
So what did you think?
Overall, I kind of enjoyed it. It didn't have a lot of the problems I have in recent superhero films. They did a pretty good job of world building without it being blatantly in your face. There was a lot of stuff in the background that gave you a sense of this world. They gave you the little exposition dump at the front was a good way to set everything up. The CGI wasn't intrusive. It never really took you out of the action, as it were.
I will take issue with that. There were several pieces in it that was not well done, but the vast majority. As modern Marvel films go, it was excellent. But there were definite some sequences like CGI Baby in the finale. It was like...
Yeah, okay, I'll agree with that one. The only other real umbrage I have was the anti-gravity bits, but it's hard to do anti-gravity. The fire effects on Johnny were done pretty well, in my opinion. Like, in some of the previous films, it looked fucking horrendous. But this one they did quite well.
He was literally a cartoon in 1994. Because the budget was that low.
Yeah.
Talking about 1994, the cast from the 94 version are in there. I spotted Alex Hyde White, who was also the... Is it Alex Hyde White? The guy who starred in Biggles as the American. He played Mr. Fantastic in that, and he was a newsreader in this.
Did you notice that through the entirety of the film, they never called Ben the Thing?
Did they not?
No, they never referred to him as the Thing.
That would be insulting.
Did they refer to any of them by their code names?
No.
Interesting.
They never referred to them by their superhero names. Was the Human Torch,
Mr. Fantastic was
Invisible Woman.
No, they never.
Yeah, in the science show, it was Learn at Fantastic Science with Mr. Fantastic.
That's true.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give it that one.
It's one of the interesting ways that the language evolves. But back then, Mr. Fantastic was not self-aggrandizing. Fantastic just meant weird. That's what it was. The word "fantastic" changed its connotation to be positive, in part because of the success of Fantastic Four comic.
Like the word "awful"
and awesome.
Yeah.
Awful used to be a positive term, as something made you full of awe. I don't know when the linguistic switch on that was. I must look that up. But anyway, there were a few lines where the dialogue was about, that's a bit forced.
Galactus's dialogue was bad.
Oh yeah.
They completely dropped the ball on Galactus's dialogue. I was really sad about that. I mean, he's like, I was once a little... Oh, shit, sorry, we're not supposed to have spoilers yet.
Yeah, no spoilers.
I said that.
I think it's time we drop the spoiler tag, unless you haven't figured that out already.
Okay.
Or do you want to
I thought it was nice for people to know our general thoughts before we went into the spoilers.
Do you want to do your general thoughts, dear?
Yeah, it's decent. Now we can go into spoilers.
I'm not allowed to give general thoughts.
No, you're not.
Because my thoughts would be way too specialised and too long and involved.
Alright, spoilers are now dropping. Give us your more specific thoughts.
Before that, this example of bad dialogue, Galactus is like, I was once a little man. And before I, grew large. It's like, Galactus would be like, I was once an insect like you. Or something like that. A little bit. It doesn't need to be Shakespeare.
Wasn't he always like a celestial titan?
No, he was from a previous universe. He was one of the few survivors, and that his survival of the collapse and rebirth of the universe turned him into Galactus. So he was actually a tiny guy from a previous universe.
The way it really was, I, Galactus, was once a little man like you, until I took an arrow to the knee.
Like, you don't need to go full college Shakespearean, but he needs a little bit more gravitas in the lines than the ones that they gave him. It's just
I was genuinely surprised that he spoke English.
Well, Ralph Ineson's from Yorkshire, so it helps.
I mean, Galactus.
The communication in the film would have been more awkward if he didn't.
Yeah, I know, but that's the kind of thing that you would have the Silver Surfer there for, to translate for him.
Why does she speak English?
Plus Galactus
She researched the planet so she could learn their language so she could deliver the warning.
Galactus is basically a god level thing.
hero.
Him being able to learn to speak all these languages makes sense.
He's probably received all their radio signals, and from that being able to work out the language in 5 seconds or something.
But general thoughts, I really, really enjoyed it. Easily the best Fantastic Four film. Not perfect, and I can make complaints, but, you know, it was a breath of fresh air. And it was really nice to see, you know, how Marvel films, the good ones, the best ones, tend to mix with other genres. And this one, the not often seen choice to mix it with a 1960s style science fiction, people trying to save something, disaster type of, like when worlds collide, to a lesser extent the black hole. A lot of time it's just it's more of a, we're gonna fix this with science. The sort of you know, we haven't become cynical yet. We can solve everything with science and working together, which 60s films had. There was more of them back then. It was lovely to see that kind of thing again. Breath of fresh air.
The lack of rioting in New York City after the failure of the initial plan was, that would not have happened. Those streets would not have been empty for that little poignant moment.
It very much felt like the film was being much more hopeful. Again, the fact it and Superman have come out at pretty much the same time, in that they're both going with that more hopeful, more bright, more friendly, nicer feel. I absolutely loved the retrofuturism of it. Mm-hmm. Loved that 60s feel. It felt really nice, really unique, really nice. And I really hope this isn't the only film we have in this alternative universe.
Well, they're going to be in the main universe.
Yeah, well, hopefully they're there temporarily and then they go back or something.
Which film was their ship appearing?
That was Thunderbolts.
It was Thunderbolts, okay.
Well, that's clearly them coming back because Baby is being kidnapped by Doctor Doom, or that Doctor Doom is from this universe. Who knows? We'll find out.
Yeah, Doctor Doom was there for all of 4 frames.
The my prediction for the next one, what we're going to get is, this might be the next film, might be the one after that. We're going to get something like the comic, I think it was Secret Wars, where basically they set up a battle world, which is where people from different sort of areas have to fight each other. In this one, it'll be MCU Earth, Fantastic Four Earth, and the X-Men Earth that was introduced in the Marvels, and they're going to have to fight each other. And then after that, Franklin's reality warping powers will be used to reconstruct the universe. This happened in the comics, where basically they rebuilt the universe to keep what they wanted to keep and retcon stuff, and this will unite to create a new MCU, which will include the Fantastic Four, include more retrofuturism, include the X-Men from day one, and bring back any characters they want to bring back, Iron Man, whatever, and keep going what they want to keep going, and that'll be the MCU going forward. Soft reboot, uniting those 3 universes. Prediction.
Sounds like the House of M storyline on a grander scale.
Yeah. It's I can't remember what the comic run was when this happened, but that's my guess.
Well, if they're going to do that, I hope they lay the groundwork a bit more, because there doesn't seem to be much groundwork laid for it at this stage.
Well, we got a magic baby who can do anything.
Yeah, I feel like this...
One film is not groundwork. One film is last minute.
And we got 2...
I think this was the foundation. I think they're going to build up more in the overarching multi-film plot in the next film.
Yeah,
this was basically, here are the characters and here's how they work.
Yeah, they've only got 2 more films basically to the end of the next phase, and they were building up to stuff with Kang the Conqueror, but you know they had to stop that and change course. So it's going to be a little bit messier than Endgame, but I think it'll be fine.
We will see. But very important is I want to know what the fuck is going on with Latvia in this film universe.
Latvia?
I don't know. Did you guys notice? But we saw the future of the foundation.
Future Foundation.
Future Foundation, and it went over the
Latveria? You mean Dr. Doom's country?
Was that Latveria?
Yeah, Dr. Doom comes from Latvia.
Okay, maybe I misread it and read it as Latvia. It would explain why the seats were empty.
Oh, that will be Latveria then.
So
yeah.
then that would explain that, and that ties into Doctor Doom. Okay.
Latveria is traditionally closed sort of society, almost like North Korea style, with Doctor Doom as the absolute monarch. A lot of the early inspiration for Afghanistan, world building was from Latveria.
Well, there you go. I asked the question, I got the answer. Everyone should be happy, especially me.
I will say, I kind of liked Bearded Ben character design.
Why does he have beard but no hair?
Well, that's why he was grinding. It looks like he's growing like rocks.
Yeah, I realize that, but why does he have no hair? Why does it not work on his hair as well? Why is his hair not growing rocks too? Like his on top of his head. It doesn't make sense.
The original character was bald. The original
Possibly.
Ben was bald before he went into space.
Was he?
But speaking of the Thing, he was one area I was concerned going in that was going to look bad. He's constantly in it. He's effectively using his power at all times by being, well, the Thing. And
he doesn't have a choice. That's the main.
I know, but the fact is, I was concerned going in that it was going to look bad, and thus every fucking scene was going to look awful. But no, he actually looked very good. The movement, for the most part, was excellent, and they humanized him in a great way.
They've definitely the best looking on screen.
I feel like the vast majority of his costume, bar the actual face, was a practical effect because it had a lot of weight to it.
No, it was a mocap suit with.
Was it a mocap suit?
I've seen.
It looked like a practical effect.
The effects are really cool. Good. Like in Endgame when they went back in time, those time suits were all digital. Because they hadn't designed them yet because they ran out of time.
It just shows when they put the time and the effort into the CGI, it can look good, and just shows how rushed they've thrown it out in the past number of films.
One of the problems is they have a tendency, according to a special effects artist, I read an interview with someone, they'll ask for a thing, the special effects artist will do them, and then someone will be like, no, we want something completely different, and they have to redo it. Rather than work out what they want early enough to make it perfect it, they keep wanting different things, which means starting from the ground up.
Are you telling me executives go in and change their minds and fuck things up?
It's the
my God.
It's a little bit like they tried to use it's the same way the Iron Man was made like that, kind of like it was a lot of it was ad-libbed and stuff, and they kept it going in ways that it didn't really quite, in areas it doesn't work, like with special effects and stuff. I think it grew out of the Marvel method, which was a comic making, which was very different from DC. DC would have a guy who sit down, write a script, artist draws it, and that's the traditional way you do comics. Marvel had Stan Lee writing about 25 comics at a time, and he couldn't do it that way. So what he did was he'd sit down with the artist, and they'd work out together what the plot of the issue is going to be. Basically, the Fantastic Four, they meet God, and he's going to eat the Earth. Okay, go off and draw it.
Why does God need a spaceship?
Because he's Galactus, he needs a spaceship. That was actually apparently the meeting where they had with Jack, where that resulted in the Galactus story. They meet God and he wants to eat the Earth. And then the artist goes off and draws it. And then whenever they got the first version of the art, it comes over and Stan Lee would write in all of the dialogue and the descriptions. And so it was much more of a collaborative thing. Then they would make changes if they needed to. And the films, they keep trying that with CGI, it's a similar sort of mindset, and it usually results in bad CGI.
Speaking of Galactus, do you know what I think would have been a cool little addition to the design of his ship?
Mm-hmm.
You know how, like, after he went through the planet, he left, like, a lot of debris behind? Wouldn't it be cool if he just had, like, a bunch of, like, little tender ships that went out and just, like, grabbed the chunks and, like, started feeding them into the mouth?
A little bit like the little prongs on Unicron when he was eating bits. He was doing that in Transformers the movie, grabbing pieces and pulling it into it.
I thought that would be kind of cool, just having these little ships that go out and you're like, nee.
Yeah.
But no. Galactus is a very messy eater.
Yet again, my wonderful curse with predictions happened. Okay, because years and years ago I was like, I want to see a Fantastic Four film set in the 60s, and then of course they announced it, and then of course it turns out it's not set in the MCU because I wanted it to be set in the MCU. Then I want Ralph Ineson to play Doctor Doom. Then they're like, we're going to cast him as Galactus. And then in this one they announced Natasha Lyonne's in this. I'm like, sweet! I bet she's going to play Alicia Masters, the Thing's blind girlfriend. Then she turns up and she's playing a different character who's the Thing's non-blind girlfriend. I'm like, I'm always slightly off.
You just got to try harder.
So, my final thoughts is, it was a good film. Go check it out. There will be nitpicks. My biggest nitpick was that the passage of time wasn't very well advertised.
Yeah.
Like, from them coming back from talking to Galactus to him arriving at the planet was supposedly a year, but we didn't really see much of that time passing.
And then they kept cutting back to like, oh, Galactus is past Jupiter, he's past Mars. Apparently he's walking there at a snail's pace because they actually build all these, things around the world, organize these giant things, and he's still not arrived yet. So he's going slower than a fucking, space shuttle.
Yeah, that's the biggest act of fiction, that they manage to get the whole world to concentrate on working on one project.
Well, the Fantastic Four are in charge though, so that's why they must have had their UN.
From my perspective, it's a good film. I enjoyed it. It is by far the strongest Marvel film we've had in a long time. I have not despised most of the recent Marvel films. They've all had major issues and major flaws, but this one felt like a firm, good film in its own right. I can nitpick, but I'm not going to. Give it a go. The big question is, and I'll ask you this, Nicola, because again, Zara hasn't seen yet, how would you compare it to Superman? Because that's what many people are going to be thinking right now.
Story and plot-wise, I would say they're comparably good stories. Both have their issues that I have nitpicked on, but as an overarching film, they're decent films.
One thing I really appreciated in this was the nonchalant use of powers.
Yeah.
In the previous Fantastic Four films, and in most films with people with powers, they sort of telegraph, like, this looks cool, this thing here, it looks impressive, be impressed, when they use some sort of power. And this one is very nonchalant. It's like, power goes out, Johnny just lights his hand. Reed needs something. They don't make a big show of it, but he will stretch a little bit to get something. Nice and subtle. That is the kind of approach I want to see in the X-Men. Just people using powers all the time, but not drawing attention to it because it's just part of their body. The guy who did Thunderbolts, he's doing the MCU X-Men film, so that's going to be fun. The post reboot recasting one, so that'll be after Doomsday.
All right. Well,
we should give your final thoughts.
I really enjoyed it. It was good, and it was nice, and it was very refreshing. Galactus I was disappointed by. I didn't want to see CGI Ralph Ineson. I really wish they could have used a tiny camera and just filmed him in an actual suit. I think it would have looked more impressive. This one, he's big CGI Ralph Ineson, even the face, and it's like, that's distracting. And his dialogue was kind of crap, and he didn't have very much to do. I mean, this guy, he didn't even sound as rumbly and threatening as he usually does. It's like, bit of a waste of a Ralph Ineson, I'm very sad to say, but and the Silver Surfer, I hated her hair and I hated her eyes. I have no problem with Shala Bal being the Silver Surfer, even though it's usually Norrin Rad. The one in the 2006 Rise of the Silver Surfer, that did it far better visually because just solid silver, bald, and the eyes had no irises, had no pupils. It was just solid silver. It made them look even more inscrutable. The eyes being semi-organic looking, and the hair, it just made her look more human. And it's just, that's not Silver Surfery.
It reminded me of something, and I can't for the life of me put my finger on it. It's a film where a woman basically approaches and she's wet. She just slicks her hair back. It might have been one of the Species films.
Oh, First Species had Natasha Henstridge with her hair slicked back the whole time.
Yeah, it might have been a scene out of that it just popped into my head whenever she appeared, because despite her being made of silver, she looks like she has wet hair. The way it is just against her head and the way it kind of just flips out at the end, it looks like she just has wet hair. But anyway, we'll wrap up because I have parked like an asshole. I should probably move on. If you like this, subscribe, like, interact, put comments down below. Even if it's just a shout at me for parking like an asshole.
Tell me I'm right in our argument with Teddy earlier.
Okay, sure.
I do not agree with that sentiment, but I do agree with the sentiment of commenting. comment.
It's all engagement.
Exactly.
Yeah, even it's just a comment that there's a distinct lack of kittens in this video. But check out the Patreon.
Now there's kittens.
It's my car kitten. It's my little mascot. It sits on my dashboard.
John Malkovich is not in it, even though he was in the trailer. He was playing the Red Ghost with his super apes. He was apparently supposed to be in the montage at the start where they show basically them fighting all these Silver Age villains, including the Mole Man and stuff. But they cut him out, but you do see an animated version at the end.
Right. Right. Check out the Patreon for exclusive reviews and longer things. If you want to request a review on there as well, check out our Discord because we sometimes chat on there, and Hagan posts clips and progress reports on our videos.
Yeah, I put photos, I tell people, and I give little vocal updates and stuff like that.
And sometimes she puts her terrible jokes in there too.
I do.
Other than that, thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.